the fields. From the ice to the turf, we'll break it down. Discussing every win and every loss in town. We'll talk about the Canucks and the Lions. We are your irrational fans. We are your irrational fans.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live with episode 126 of the Hughes Sports Podcast. I am your host, Jake Hughes, alongside the old man. Old man, how the hell are you doing today?
Oh, you didn't say it. You said it too quick this time.
Oh, I'm going to beat you.
I'm doing amazing. It's been a good week. Excited for this episode. I'm super stoked for this one. So it's going to be a quick hour.
Very quick hour that we are ready to go here. And I'll let you tee up the reason that you're so excited for today's episode.
Well, as Rod Peterson, who just chimed in, said, this is going to be a great guest. We have the privilege of having the president of the Calgary Stampeders, one of the very rare players, and I want to talk to him about it, that actually played for one team his whole entire career. Started in 1994, and he played until 2007. Won 2 Grey Cups, All-Star 6 times, CFL All-Star 6 times, I think it is, 4 times, 5 times, Western All-Star 1 million times. This guy's amazing. So without further, let's see if I can actually push these buttons and bring him in. Mr. J. McNeil, how are you?
I'm doing really good, thank you. How are you guys?
Doing amazing.
Yeah,
we want first thank you for taking the time to jumping on with us. I truly, truly do appreciate it. And I mentioned it when I was introducing you. One of the rare players that only played for one team his whole entire career. I can think of one other guy to do it. He's over my other shoulder. See, I always do it.
Yeah.
Mr. Louis, he played for the Lions his whole career. It doesn't happen anymore. What's the difference? Where is that? Is it just there's no loyalty anymore?
Yeah, it certainly is different from I sound like such an old guy when I say that. It's certainly different from when I played. And I think one of the differences, players today really are focused on their football careers. And don't get me wrong, I mean, I dedicated everything I could to my career in the Stampeders, but I was also, in the background, I was also thinking about life after football,
right?
Very early on in my career. And, I knew Calgary was a place that I wanted to make home, and there was going to be a lot of opportunity for life after football. And so, as the opportunities came up to move to different teams, ultimately I ended up staying. I mean, I love the city. I love the team and the organization and my teammates. So that made it easy. But also, the thought about what am I going to do with my life after football, and Calgary is a city full of opportunity.
Nice. I love it. We moved here basically the same reason, 2002, just because it was such a great opportunity. Left Vancouver, moved out here, and never regretted it.
Yeah.
Never ever regretted it. Now, you played until 2007. Did you transition right into the back office from there, or did you do something else then come back?
No, while I was playing, I was working, and I was working in the oil industry here in Calgary. And so, when I joke around, when I retired, we lost in Saskatchewan. My last game was in Regina, the old Taylor Field. The next day we cleaned up my locker, and then I was on to real life. A day after that, I was back at work and sort of never looked back from there. So no, I was working in the oil industry in Calgary.
Oh wow, okay. And when did you come back to the Stampeders in the back office? What year was that?
It is almost 3 years. So October 4th is the actual day of 2022.
What? I was going to use the word possessed you. What was that? What was that like? What was that? Why am I doing this? This is a huge opportunity, but also it's obviously you took on a huge struggle.
Yeah. Maybe I didn't quite know the full extent of the struggle. But so let me just start. This is probably obvious, but I'll state it anyways. I love the game of football. I love the CFL, and I love the Calgary Stampeders. So, it's always been a part of my life in some way, shape, or form. While I was playing, after I retired, whether it's I'm still involved but at the time I was a trustee on the CFL pension board. I'm a season ticket holder for the Stamps. Love the game. Try to be an ambassador for the league, for the team, for the game as much as I possibly could. Working through the oil industry, I spent my entire career post football in the oil industry, and I had a great job. I was working for a company. I was the chief operating officer, and we were growing our business around the world, and I was traveling for work. I really enjoyed what I was doing. One of my ex-teammates, Stu Laird, was working for us. So, got some of that camaraderie in there.
Yeah.
And a off conversation with somebody that worked for Calgary Sports Entertainment. We were having a coffee talking about something completely different. And at the end of it, we just sort of evolved into what was the succession plan for John Hufnagel. And a month later, I started with the Stampeders. So it was certainly not something that was planned. I don't think from either side. And but when certainly from my perspective, it just everything about it I loved. I think there was from the Stampeders perspective, there was a lot of things that they loved as well, and so it happened quickly. And I haven't looked back from since then.
Well, I remember it was just after you were announced as the president that you and I met. You had come up to Grey Eagle Casino. You were being a guest on the Rod Peterson show. You were, I think, probably weeks into the position, if that. And I remember sitting and having a chat with you, and you're like, I have no idea what I've got myself in. Which I found funny. It was like, yeah, okay. You just became the president. And I mean, Jake and I are massive CFL fans. Obviously, we're BC Lions fans, but huge, massive CFL fans. Very few. As you know, I had season tickets for the Stamps for many years. We used to bump into each other in the concourse every once in a while. Do you still do that? Do you still roam the concourse talking to people?
I do. I learned that one early on. I like people. I like being around people. I like talking to them. And I've heard the good and I've heard the bad over the last 3 years. But that's okay. At the end of the day, I love that our fans are passionate and want to share their views and their perspectives with me. And so I do. That's one of my favorite parts is just after, at the end of halftime, is usually when I will walk from the west side all the way to the east side. And I walk the concourse and talk whenever I get an opportunity to talk with people. And so that's one of my favorite parts of game day.
I love it.
But I remember that day as well. And I don't think I understood the complexity of this business. I think I probably had a pretty good idea, but just maybe not all the layers that came with it. And so, at the end of the day, the fundamentals of business are the same, whether you're, a football team, a hockey team, or an oil and gas company. And so when you use those principles and you just got to learn some of the tactics and the intricacies of it. And it's been a lot of fun. It's been challenging. I'll say this, it is, anybody that asks, this has been the most stressful job I've ever had. It's been, I've never worked harder and longer hours, but I've never been happier. And so I feel like the luckiest guy on earth every day I go to the office.
You know what? I mean, if you can love or just really enjoy the job you're going to every day, it makes it so much easier. Jake, you'll learn that. You're still young. So much to learn, Jake.
That's right. Yeah. So much in front.
Exactly. Now, how long did you get to work with Mr. Hufnagel before that transition happened?
So when I first joined in October of 2024, I joined as vice president of business operations.
Right.
And I held that position until January 2024 when I was promoted to president. And so, I obviously worked incredibly closely with him during that time. And then he stayed on as an advisor and is still an advisor for us today. So it's, so we still have that expertise.
Yes.
He's seen and done things that, I had no idea it existed. So it's great to get his perspective when we need it.
Yeah, it's two people that you think of when you think of CFL, and it's Wally Bono and Huff Nagel, right? It's just those two. And it's like, if you could sit and have a beer with those two and just pick their brain for an hour, my goodness, best hour that you ever spent.
No kidding. I feel pretty fortunate. Obviously Wally was, he drafted me. I got to play under him for, I think, 8 years. And then Huff was our offensive coordinator when I was drafted. And then getting to work with him now, I feel very privileged to be able to, just been associated with those two guys.
You played back in that was when my big fandom years, where I was old enough to actually afford to go to the games myself. And because, I grew up just blocks away from the old Empire Stadium. Yeah. And I remember being a kid, we got to know one of the ushers. So after the game started, he would sneak us in and we'd sit on the hill. We'd sit on the hill underneath the scoreboard. And that's how I watched the games when I was probably from 6 years old on, was on that grass field. As I'm sure you remember that old stadium.
It's amazing. I love hearing those stories.
Yes. So let's talk about this season. We talked a little bit off camera, and I believe you had said if somebody would have told you you're going to go into your bye week at 5-3, you would have had a big smile on your face. Happy so far? Tell us how the season's gone in your eyes.
Yeah. So happy for sure. The last 2 years especially have been incredibly challenging for our organization, for our fans. Expectations are high here in Calgary, inside our organization and outside. And so, to have the couple of years that we had, it was, last fall was not a fun time to be a part of our organization. But, we committed ourselves to changing. We were going to change the way we did things on the field and change the way we, do things off the field. And our entire organization has really embraced that. And then, when you look at it from strictly a football perspective, Dave Dickinson and his team, when we walked through and put a plan together for 2025, they really embraced that change. We identified, specific people, some positions, and who do we need to go after to make our team better. And they did a great job delivering, helping to build that plan and then delivering on it. And bringing quality human beings. And so there was a lot of optimism at the start of the season. And I remember having conversations with Dave about, what I thought, what I expected, maybe not my expectations, but, he was always like, hey, it's going to take time. We got a new coaching staff. We've got, new players. So it's going to take time to gel. And, you could see in training camp, the culture of our team was very different than it had been in the past. In a good way. And that's not there's not being critical of anybody that's been here in the past by any means, but it was just different, and you could feel it and you could see it. Certainly I could, I had, many fans after our first preseason game at home, talk to me about, how they could see it on the sidelines. And so I think there was some cautious optimism heading into the season. And then it's just kept building as we kept winning, and you kept seeing these guys have fun. And then we were facing adversity. Like when you look at, a big game for us was that Stampede Bowl when we beat Winnipeg. Then going into Saskatchewan and having the smoke game and coming out on top of that game, and then going into Winnipeg the following week, when we were going to get paid back, and the team responded tremendously. It was fun to watch, but more importantly, it was fun to watch the players. They were having fun. They were believing in themselves, and you could see, that there was a difference. Now, the last couple of weeks have been a little bit disappointing. So it's funny how, we talked about this beforehand, how expectations have changed. Yeah. 5-3, I would have killed 5-3. I'll take that all day. And to lose 2 in a row here, all of a sudden you're incredibly disappointed. And, what are we doing to fix this? And
What's going on here?
Yeah. The exciting part about that is, I mean, I didn't say anything. Our players and our coaches have responded, from that perspective. They're having those conversations. This is not acceptable. What are we going to do to fix it? And I love hearing and watching that.
That's cool. Jake, you had a question about the Stampede Bowl.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of trophies, and we've talked about it here on the show a bunch. How did that genesis happen in kind of coinciding with the sneak peek night down at the Stampede, with having the game and the Stampede Bowl, kind of the incarnation of it?
Yeah, so we had partnered with the Calgary Stampede for Grey Cup 2026. The entire Grey Cup festival will be held down on the Stampede grounds, and so working quite closely with their CEO. And I guess back it up a couple. The 2 years previous. In 2023. So typically we would book off the entire Stampede, and we'd either have road games or we'd have bye weeks.
Yeah.
And then we would host a home game the weekend after the Stampede. 2023, we hosted Ottawa, and we tried to drive ticket sales by having that being our family day game, which was traditionally one of our higher attendance games. And we sold just over 20,000 tickets, and we had 15,000 people come to the game. So, the following year we asked the league, well, can you give us a Western Division opponent to try to drive some interest and see if we could. So we get BC scheduled for us. So we held our first Wall of Fame induction ceremony in over 10 years, and we inducted Wally Buono on the Wall of Fame, and we sold just over 20,000 tickets, and we had 15,000 people come to the game. So no different. And so we're like, we need to do something different here. The reality is, the weekend after Stampede, Calgarians are tired. They've spent a lot of their money, or they're on vacation.
Or we're hungover.
I wasn't going to say that, but let's be real here. And so we thought, let's try to do something different. And through our discussions with the Stampede about the 2026 Grey Cup, I posed the question. I said, hey, I don't know how you guys would ever feel about this, but I think this could be very complimentary. Would you ever consider? I don't want to say allowing us to do this, but working with us to help make this something special. And instantly, Joel Cowley, their CEO, just said, yes, I believe this is actually very complimentary to both our businesses, and we'd like to support this. And so that's how that concept came about. And we had a change in leadership at Calgary Sports Entertainment, and our new CEO and our new chief operating officer were 6 months, 6 or 8 months into the job. And we came and we talked about this, and they loved it. And really, without their support and the support of our ownership, it took it to a whole nother level.
Nice.
We were really excited with the outcome of that game for sure.
And how many tickets did you end up selling for the
23,000? And so 23,000. But think about this though too, is a typical Thursday for us in the summertime since the pandemic, we would average 17,600 tickets.
Exactly.
And so we took a Thursday from 17,600 to 23,000. So
that's amazing.
The other cool piece to that is nobody knew what it was, right? People got behind it. They were excited for it, but nobody really knew what it was. And so we're hoping that, with how this year went, from our halftime performance with Brett Michaels, he was amazing, to, the partnership with the league and TSN and how they embraced it. And then obviously with the Stampede, we're hoping that next year, this is our 23 turns into 30.
Okay. Tell us who's going to play next year. Come on,
Are the opponent or the halftime show?
The halftime show. Come on, halftime show.
The halftime show we're still working on now. And it's funny though, Brett Michaels was he was fantastic. He wants to come back and do it again.
Really?
This was so much fun. He goes, I would love to be a part of this again. So
hint.
Yeah.
Awesome. Sir, I promised we'd keep this to 15 minutes, and we've gone over that time. One final
that was
question.
fast.
It does go fast. You have been awarded the 2026 Grey Cup. What kind what kind of prep work are you working on already to prepare for that?
Yeah, it's funny is going through the process of bidding on the Grey Cup last year I couldn't believe how much additional work that went into that document. And as we were waiting on the results of that bid, I remember talking to Wade Miller, the president of Winnipeg, and this was probably October-ish. And he goes, be careful what you wish for. He goes, right now, I feel like I have a second full-time job on this one. And so, things are really starting to ramp up. We've got an executive director in place where we've got 3 members of our team in place from a Grey Cup
Nice.
perspective. We've got our executive committee, which we've got co-chairs, and we're just working on logos with the league, and so we're actually in a pretty good spot. When we talked to all the people that were involved in 2019, they said, "Wow, you guys are way ahead of where we were in 2019."
Nice.
Feels good, but I also lay awake at night going, "Oh, we're running out of time." And so,
well, people don't realize how much work goes into something like that. You and I went to the Vancouver Grey Cup, and man, what a show they put on. They raised that bar high, and Jake and I are planning to go to Winnipeg, and I know Winnipeg's going to push that bar even higher. So you get some big shoes, and I mean, Calgary's known, and I've used to live here back in '88, and they're known for putting on events, the city rallying behind it. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what comes of this 2026 Grey Cup.
Well, when it's funny is when we hired our executive director, and she's tremendous. She, came from us from Special Olympics, put on the Canadian Special Olympics, Winter Games last year in Calgary. So just a beast in the events world.
Nice.
And we talked about what are our goals. And I said exactly what you had just said. Vancouver just put on one of the most successful Grey Cups in history. We know the tremendous business that Winnipeg has become, and so they will take that another level. And then our goal is to take it up even further than that. And so we want to put on the best Grey Cup in history. So that's our goal, and we're working towards that one.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure you and I will talk many times between now and then. But I want to thank you for taking the 22 minutes, 6 minutes past the time I said. I appreciate you, even if I did mess up the time.
All good.
I actually told Jay it was 7:00. And what had happened was next week we were having somebody that you might know, Sean Millington, on our show.
Yeah.
And he's in Vancouver, so I was telling him 7:00 for next week. So when you replied, I went, 7:00. And I didn't notice it until I went to send you the link this night. And I went, oh no. So I appreciate you.
Give you the first when we first talked about it, you did mention 8. So I kind of kept it open just in case. So it worked out well.
It's old age. That's what I blame it on.
I get it.
He's up there in age, so
I've got you by 6 years, sir.
It's I'm going to take a few bumps to the head though. Might accelerate me up to where you are.
You played that lineman. It was a car crash every 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. McNeil. I appreciate you, and we'll talk again soon.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. It's been a lot of fun. Appreciate it.
Good luck on the rest of the season. We'll be watching.
Thank you.
Be nice to our Lions.
We'll see where we're at that point.
Okay.
No guarantees though.
Take care, my friend.
Thanks, guys.
The president of the Stampeders, Mr. Jay McNeil. What a great freaking interview that was, Jake.
It was fantastic, and appreciate the time, Jay, for jumping in and hanging out with us for the almost 25 minutes, 10 minutes longer than what the old man promised you. But great conversation. Great to hear and I know you hate the term, but how the sausage is made on things. Like,
what? You can't say how the sausage is made. We're a family TV show.
How the sausage is made. Like, we found out how the process of the Stampede Bowl became a thing, and the fact that it was like oh, we had this idea, jump, and just kind of snapped everything quickly.
I love his story about how he ended up becoming the president. It was like, I went for a coffee.
2 months later, it was happening.
Just awesome.
Um,
Awesome.
Before we jump into some of the more CFL news around the league in the week that was last week, we do have a tiny bit of Canucks news.
Do we? Oh,
Yes.
They signed somebody today.
Yes, that was yesterday. Vitaly Kravtsov, might be a familiar name, played 16 games with us in 22-23.
I thought I recognized his name.
Was a 9th overall pick in the 2018 draft by the New York Rangers, but has played more games in the KHL than he has in the NHL.
Right. And he came off a strong year last year in the KHL from what I was reading. 27
goals, 31 assists for 58 points, only 4 penalty minutes in 66 games.
Oh, hey, that's not bad.
And then another 6 goals, 1 assist in the playoffs. His team made it all the way to the finals in the KHL playoffs. So
awesome.
Great thing about it is it's a 2-way contract.
1-year deal?
Two-way, one-year contract worth $750 if he's out in the big leagues. Again, I think it just gives us more scoring depth if he can figure it out at the NHL level. He's only played a combined 64 games in the NHL for 12 points. 6 goals, 6 assists. So still lots and lots of game for him to figure out, but he's still super young. He's only 25 years old.
Lots of time.
From what insiders have been saying, a lot of it might have also been locker room issues and attitude issues of being a top 10 pick.
Oh, okay.
And maybe that trip back to the KHL really straightened him out. From everything reported on him, he's been nothing but a professional. Yeah. And from everything you can, people are reporting on, he is been nothing but a professional in the KHL. So
nice.
hoping he can be that third line killer for us.
Yes.
Play with Drew O'Connor and Teddy Bluger, I guess, as your third line.
Oh, okay.
Or even Philip Hedl if we end up finding that second center, if we ever find that. But not a bad.
When we find that.
If I'm at the point where if we find it. We're a month away from camp opening. Like, there's not a lot of time left.
It's only a month away.
Yeah.
Wow. Crazy.
It's September. I'm pretty sure it's early. Oh no, it's a month and 12 days.
Wow. Yeah. Not much time.
So it's gonna come up on us quickly. I wish we were in a place where we could go out to the beautiful city of Penticton to watch the training camp, but I don't think we are as a show. But maybe next year.
1 year. 1 year we'll figure that out.
Yeah. Well, maybe next year.
Yeah. You know what? We should plan on that.
I have a thought process in my head. So
yeah.
Maybe next year we can.
On that. That would be not bad. That would be a good thing to do.
Yeah. Cool.
This year we got to concentrate on getting press credentials for the Grey Cup. That's our goal. That
is the goal. And another one of our goals, and I'm going to bring it up in the middle of the show here while we've got some people watching. If you're on YouTube and you're not subscribed, we are 4 subscribers away from hitting 100 subscribers on YouTube. If you're not following, what the hell are you doing? 4. Oh, it's a click of a button. You then get our shows live in your inbox or in your YouTube box.
Even if you're not watching on YouTube right now, go to YouTube.
Yes.
Go to Hughes Sports Podcast and click the follow button. It really does help us. When we get over that 100 followers, things change. The algorithms do some algorithm-y things. And
yes, the algorithm does algorithm-y things.
And then we can really promote. Hey, you missed the toucan last week. Don't you be putting your head in your hands.
I never said I missed the toucan. I just pointed out that he's clearly not the mascot because he missed a game. Has Harvey the Hound ever missed a game? Has Ralph the dog ever missed a game?
No, but they're official mascots.
Well, then clearly he's not an official mascot because he missed a game.
Well, we have to make him an official mascot. Then he won't miss a freaking game.
I don't think it's a thing.
Okay, fine. Be like that. Okay, buddy.
Anything else in the world of hockey? Oh, one other thing we should talk about, and we will be covering it
over here. Shush.
No, God. One other thing we should be talking about is Team Canada, both men and women's, put out what's basically considered a long list for the upcoming Olympics. They're having a camp here soon in Calgary here, where they're doing a bunch of off-ice training, meetings, everything like that.
Yes.
No real big surprises. I think there's 94 players on both lists. There's not oh my goodness, they didn't make it.
No one Canuck.
Who is that a thing? Like, people have been talking about this in Vancouver. Is that a thing still?
No, I'm like, really, this is your biggest worry is, oh my God, there's not a Canuck on the Olympic team. Like, guess what? There will be. It just won't be the Canadian team.
Yeah, if Demko returns to form, he'll probably be on the team.
Yes.
Like, Pettersson will be on the Swedish team. Even if he doesn't return to form, he's still that good.
And I think you got a little guy there, this young fella named Hughes, that might be on a team somewhere.
If he's healthy. He didn't make the Four Nations team because he wasn't healthy. So.
Well, he made the team. He just didn't go because he was not healthy. He was on the team.
Yep.
So,
anything else in the world of hockey that you want to bring up? I don't think there was.
It's CFL season time. What are we doing talking hockey?
Well, there's always news in hockey. I could talk hockey every single day, like for an hour straight about anything that happens.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the week that was in the CFL. Any big news? I can honestly say I missed a lot of the games this week. It was a long weekend. There was lots of things happening. Was there any big news stories that come out of this week?
Besides, not really. There was, but both, was it Friday night or Saturday night games? They were both delayed by lightning. It was the Edmonton game. What night was that? Was that the Friday or the Saturday night?
The Edmonton was Saturday. Yeah,
so it was both games, the early game and the late game, both had short. Edmonton wasn't that short. It was quite a delay for lightning and thunder. All right, I guess they don't get delayed because of thunder. It's the whole lightning thing.
It's the whole lightning thing. Which, sort of makes sense.
In Edmonton, they show the crowd. Guys are ripping off their shirts and they're playing football in the stands in the rain.
Might as well.
Well, it's not like it's a cold rain.
No, right? Exactly. It's Edmonton. They're used to it being -40.
Exactly. It was still plus 25. It was just raining. It was raining hard too, and it was more so the lightning. Obviously, they play through the rain, but yeah. Let's talk about the games that were.
Talk about it, because the only game I saw this week in full was the Stampeders going into Ottawa and losing by a score of 31-11. And this game just...
Hold it. You got an L's Stamps 21.
No, mine says
L's 23 at Stamps 21.
Mine says Stamps 11 at Red Blacks 31.
Well, isn't that weird?
Let's see what everyone else is seeing. If you're in the
why am I seeing something different than you? That's weird.
Yeah, on YouTube, I have it pulled up on YouTube. Stamps 11 at Red Blacks 31.
Well, that's just dumb.
Well, maybe your eyes are broken. You're getting up there.
I'm telling you, I'm going to take a snapshot and send it to you.
That's weird.
That's so weird. I don't know why I'm seeing the L's game. That's so bizarre.
Probably because that's what last week's was, and you came in at a time when I was updating it.
Oh, maybe. Nah,
so
that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it happened. Literally, it happens like 3 times a year when usually it's in pre-production. You notice it.
Take it off the screen and put it back on the screen.
Let's take it off and put it back on.
I still get L's 23 at Stamps 21.
That's weird.
That is just like I know you don't believe me. So I'm going to take a picture.
The thing is that I do believe you.
That's so weird. So, okay, so let's not look at that. And and it was the Stamps versus Ottawa.
Yes. PJ Walker started.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he had some really shining moments. But I also think I think there was multiple times in that game where he made a play out of nothing. but then I don't know if he's throwing it harder than what Vernon throws, but there was 2 or 3 times where it hit receivers right in the hands and they drop it.
True enough. And I think you have a point there, or the ball wasn't thrown with the same, maybe it was not the same zip.
Yeah.
Right?
If
and
it's
that could throw a receiver off. If you're used to having that ball come in at X amount and it comes in slower, it can screw you up. So, or faster, either way. Sorry, somebody made a comment and that threw me off. I think your mom is watching the show delayed because she's asking questions now that don't make sense, which doesn't surprise me. I saw a U.S. quarterback, a quarterback that's used to the NFL, trying to play a CFL game, and it's been proven over and over and over again that doesn't always work well.
No, and there was an out that was, or a hook pattern that was thrown where they ran 2 hooks to the wide side of the fields, and it was placed on the and it was they broke it down. Was it Lapo that was
yes,
play-by-play or
color commentator? Amazing.
And he broke it down and said he put it on the outside shoulder of the close guy, and if you put it on the inside shoulder, that's a protected catch. In the NFL, you want to do it the opposite way. Yes. Because there's less field. So that's the natural place to put it.
Exactly.
And it's those minor things. We're having a 10 yards long, wider field.
Yes.
5 on each side. Makes a big difference.
Huge difference. Longer, wider. I believe he threw 2 or 3 interceptions. If my memory, 3 interceptions. Because I remember thinking, look at that. The Hughes rule applies again. Yep. You give up 3, you have 3 turnovers, you're going to lose the game. And but let's hope for the Stampeders that VA is healthy next week. I did read that he was practicing this week. So
I read that as well.
Let's hope that he's back. We haven't got the final word yet as of Wednesday. When do they play?
They don't play until Saturday.
Okay. We have the bye this week. They don't have the bye.
No, we had the bye last week. Yeah. We had the bye last week.
Oh, we're playing Thursday. We're playing tomorrow.
We're playing Thursday. Yeah.
Right. So let's hope VA's better for the week, because Calgary needs VA to be healthy to continue with what they're doing.
Yeah, 100%.
What they have been doing.
One newsworthy thing that came out of this week that I totally forgot about until talking about this game was that, can I say friend of the show? Acquaintance of the show. Luke Wilson did a live spaces on X during this game.
Hey, Luke, we know you watch the show because everybody watches the show, including Kevin BX. Come on the show, Luke. Come on the show. We love you.
I also apologize if you can hear meowing at my feet. One of the cats was in here when I closed the door, and now his wants out, apparently. But Luke Wilson put on a spaces on X, which, if you've never done that, it's basically a space where he can invite people on to talk about them, basically a live podcast of type, but basically inviting guests in to be able to chat with them. And he was breaking down the game live while also talking to people and getting feedback. And honestly, he got yelled at right at the very beginning. He got yelled at quite rudely, like out of nowhere. Like, was told that they hope he dies and doesn't cover the league anymore.
Oh, wow.
The guy ended up coming back on and apologizing and was like, hey, look, I just love this league so much, and what you're saying is against what I believe this league should be doing. And Luke, I'll give it to him, the utmost professional, said, hey, look, I appreciate it, but I want this league to be better too, and that's why I'm saying these things. I'm not trying to say the NFL's here and the CFL's down here. And he's like, no, the leagues are even. You just need to make it that. You need to give the athletes the opportunity to prove it.
Well, he's not looking, and I don't want to go on for too long about Luke, because we have forever, and he won't come on our show, or he hasn't come on our show yet. If he comes on our show, then we'll talk more about him. He has an open invitation. He's not suggesting rules changes. He's not suggesting we go to a 4-down game. He's not suggesting making the field smaller. That's not what he's suggesting. Does he think the Rouge is dumb? Yeah, he does. Oh, well, he's allowed to have that opinion. He could. I think he's wrong. I think like the Rouge.
I think fair catch in the NFL is dumb.
Yeah. So are we right or wrong? That's our opinion. You're allowed to have your opinion. I think one of the things, his big things, is if we get rid of this ratio, because really, when someone catches a ball, when someone makes a great play, do we automatically say, is he Canadian? No. So we don't.
I actually asked him about this. Well, because he did invite.
How did you get up there? Like, how did he pick you?
I literally clicked the button and said request to join, and he literally said, "Oh, Hughes Sports, I recognize that name. You're up after this guy."
Seriously? So because you were on the Hughes Sports Twitter.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so I asked him about it, and he was like, how would you do the ratio? And I said, I would honestly abolish it. I think it's a silly rule. I get that we want to promote Canadian content. And he said, I get it, but what if we did something different and made it so you had to have 31 Canadians on your roster? Doesn't matter how many snaps they take or how many are on the field, but on your roster, you had to have 31 players that were Canadian.
How many people, how many roster spots is there?
54.
Yeah. See, I'm not a big fan. It goes back to this whole, you need X amount of this and you need X amount of that and you need X amount of this to make everything fair.
His reasoning is, and it made a lot of sense to me, is it would force teams to draft properly and develop talent rather than just saying, oh, well, we can grab an American to fill this position.
Yeah, but is it a team responsibility? I know they do, it is in hockey, but is it a team responsibility to be developing players in football?
Yes.
You don't see that in the NFL. They're not.
You have guys who are on practice rosters when they're first drafted.
Yeah, I guess so, right?
Football is really the only sport you don't have that development system. If you look at footy, soccer, there's kids at 15 that are being taken aside and put into things. Same with the NHL, same with rugby, same with in rugby playing countries, same with cricket. They have these
definitely hockey does it. I'm thinking like football, even in the NFL, you don't have like farm teams like you do in the hockey.
No,
right?
But you didn't in the NBA until a few years ago. Then now you have your G League, which is your summer league, right? And that's all your young players, your younger players, and you develop them.
True.
Right? I don't think you're going to have that second league or second teams, but you should be able to have a drafted roster list that is protected like the NHL has. You own a pick for so many years while they're developing.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, why not? Right? Why not?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's an idea. It's conversation.
We need to delve into this more. That's why I'd love to have Luke on. But hey, Luke, answer your emails.
But enough about Luke. Let's continue on with the week that was in the CFL.
Yes,
because we had 71 points scored in this game, in which the Argos and Bombers took on each other. And the Bombers getting their win back from the week prior by a score of 40-31.
Now I'm getting Elks Riders on my screen.
Yeah, again, you're stuck in last week. Move on.
I can't do it. Like, I got to see what you're talking about. Let me go here. It even here it says Elks Riders. That's so weird. What I'm pointing to, folks, is our off-screen stuff that you can't see. That is so weird.
Does that help?
Yes, that helps. Except you spelled Bombers with an I.
Yeah, better than spelling them with a U.
That's funny. What a game. Holy. This game had a little bit of everything. A little bit of everything in this one. Fun game to watch. I thought Toronto was going to pull this one out, and they let me down. I picked them, and they let me down. Let me down bad, bums. There's one game I missed this week. That was it.
Well, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Damn it.
Yeah, honestly, I've got nothing to say about these games as I missed most of them. So
I'm not going to go into a bunch of stats. We'll just keep going.
Fair. Then we had the Ticats and the Elks and the Bombers. Bo Levi is the name I was trying to think of. Bo Levi pulls out the win at 28-24.
Bo Levi, and I mean, everybody knows I'm not a Bo Levi fan at all. It's funny. It says Bombers Argos. It's driving me crazy. I'm not a Bo Levi fan, but I don't know what they did. Who lit a fire under this guy? But he looked like a young Bo Levi. He was scrambling. He was running. The emotion you saw in this guy, it reminded me of Bo Levi playing for Calgary 10 years ago.
So I was listening to Harrison Price today, which was hosted by Jeff Patterson and Patrick Johnson. So neither Matt nor Blake were working.
Nice. They're on holiday.
But they had Farhan on the show. And they asked about it, like, what happened with Bo? And basically Farhan said he bought in. Halfway through the season last year, he bought into I'm terrible with names.
Sorry, what are you saying?
The head coach of the Ticats.
Scott
Milanovic? Yeah, Scott Milanovic.
Yes, thank you.
He bought into what Scott Milanovic wanted and realized, this works. I don't just need to throw the long bomb. I can check down and throw those short balls. And Farhan said straight up that Bo believed that this would have been his last year. Would be his last year playing in the CFL.
He's got years in front of him again.
And Farhan said, like, there's no chance if he keeps up this play, as long as there's no injuries, and knock on wood, no injuries. He's like, there's no way he's done after this year.
I sit back and I watch and I'm like, what a difference. And like, literally he's gone back to picking defenses apart, taking what they're giving him. And so many defenses, and they'll probably adjust in the second half of the season here, but so many defenses have watched the Bo tapes, and if you cover Bo long, he's gonna throw interceptions or overthrow his receivers. Yeah. And he hasn't been doing that. He has been. I'll give him credit, man. He's been on fire. He passed Doug Flutie in all-time yards this week. Doug did a really nice tribute to him that they played. They had it pre-recorded, obviously, and it was a fun game to watch. I forget how many yards Bo had, but it was against the Elks. Everybody's, but it's against the Elks.
350 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, 30 for 42.
Yes. The people who keep saying, but it's against the Elks. The Elks are a good team. They've just got to put it together with Cody Fajardo in behind the center. You've got a team they could gel in the second half here, and BC better freaking watch out. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say about that.
Still lots of runway left in the season too. So. Yes. And then let's go to the what I thought was the most shocking score of the entire week. And let's see what the old man sees on this one. Because the Riders go into Montreal and blow out the Owls 34-6.
I actually ended up turning this one off because it was so boring. It really was. It was the Riders, and yes, Rod, if you're listening, Mr. Peterson, this is a motorboat. Winning by 6 points is not motorboating. Winning by 29 points, 28 points, that's motorboating. Holding the L's, who were 5-1, to 0 touchdowns, 2 field goals. Literally, the Riders did everything right. They played a hell of a game. If we were talking to Jay McNeil earlier, if somebody would have told you the Stamps would be 5-3 and the Riders would be 7-1, you'd tell them to put down the bottle of tequila because they've been drinking too much.
Yeah.
Right? It's insane, absolutely insane what the Riders have been able to put together this year. But if you go back, a lot of the experts, quotation marks, were picking the Riders to do really well this year. So 7-1, I believe Rod. I don't know if he's still listening, but Rod had picked him. I forget how many games he said the Riders would win, and I laughed. I remember it was on his show, and I started giggling like a fool. I wasn't on screen, but holy, it was funny. I thought it was hilarious.
And now he's laughing at you.
He's always laughing at me. He always calls me irrational. I don't get it.
I mean, there's a reason you're on this show. Yeah, no, I thought the Riders would be good. I didn't think they'd be this good this year.
Insane. The class of the league.
Yeah. I said Saska's the cream of the crop. And like
Trent, I know you're going to be tuning in late and you'll message me. I said it. The Riders are the class of the league at 7-1 going into their bye. Now, question is, can they keep it up for the second half of the season? It would be good for the league if they could.
Yeah, and I was going to say that's a big thing is that not only are the teams that need to do well are doing well, but how am I supposed to say this? The teams that are supposed to be drawing the big crowds are drawing the big crowds.
Yes.
But they're not, like, Calgary's one of the best teams. They're starting to get crowds.
Trent's actually listening. I am shocked.
Wow.
I am shocked. He said, I never thought I would live to hear this.
Well,
I know, Trent. I have to call it as I sees it. It's not just because I'm dating someone who's a Rider fan. Let's get that straight out there. I always say she's almost perfect, but she is a Rider fan. And Charlie, no, you're not the only one in the chat today. You got Charlie commenting, you got Trent, you got Nancy commenting. Everybody's in there chatting away.
If the West keeps performing the way they are, do the Lions have a chance? This iteration of the Lions, the one we've seen over the last 8-9 weeks, do they have a chance to come close in this game?
Like into finishing third?
Yeah, to make the playoffs.
Yeah. I said it. I made the tweet. They've got a bye week here, and I sure hope they pull their heads out of their asses. Then I listened to Farhan, we have to get Farhan. I should message Farhan, see if he's got time for us. He's a busy guy. He's got NFL coverage as well as the CFL.
And his again, listening to Scarce Price, his son is starting football and is actually starting this year.
Oh,
so
really?
He's not going to be traveling a lot, so it actually might be easier for us to get him.
Because he's going to be staying home, going down to the States.
Yeah,
down to Seattle area. So after that game, the last game they played, I was pissed off, to be blunt. I wasn't happy. Didn't like what I saw. Didn't like the infighting I saw. I didn't like the finger pointing I saw. So let's hope that we talked about it last week. That let's hope they hold their meeting and they hold a players only meeting and get this stuff straightened out. Because man, we've still got lots of time. We're only 8 games in. We got 10 more games to go here. Anything could happen. Even Trent. Riders are 7-1. He says, I'm still holding my breath to see them in the second half. And you talk to any Rider fan, they're doing the same thing. It's like, oh, this is fun, but we know them.
Yeah. And it's
right?
one of those, we always talk about it. The season really starts after Labor Day.
And the Riders are notoriously horrible after Labor Day.
So hopefully for the Riders, they can hold out and keep this going.
Yes. Now the question is, can we take, I mean, if things keep going the way it is, and you asked the question, can we get third? We'll be fighting Winnipeg for third. Let's just say it this way. If Winnipeg doesn't have Kolaris back, then we stand a better chance. If Winnipeg gets Kolaris back and he stays healthy, then it's going to be a battle. Will we cross over at that point? There's a really good chance we could end up crossing over. So,
and could we be the first?
That could be the first time ever that we could
see a Western team win an Eastern quarterfinal.
Exactly.
Or I guess Eastern semifinal.
Yes.
But now it is time for everyone's favorite part of the show. Old Man Predicts.
Old.
It's time for the Old Man Predictions. How well did he do? Do-do-da. Do-dee-do.
That is right, everyone. It is time for the Old Man Predicts. How well did he do? Do-dee-da. Do-dee-do. And this past week, the Old Man ended up going 3 wins, 1 loss, bringing his record back above 500 to an 18-17 record. And now this week, I think, might be one of your toughest weeks in a long while.
Tough smuff.
We have 4 games again as normal.
4-0.
We have tomorrow at 4:30 Pacific time, which I want to talk about this. 4:30 Pacific time on a weekday game, ridiculous.
I don't understand why
it's
Doman allowed this. I don't get it. I don't understand. It's ridiculous. Yes, I get it. They have to. It doesn't make sense.
It's 7:30 in Hamilton. So if you start any later, it's going to be too late for people to go. I get it. But then why have these East-West games on Thursday nights?
Exactly.
But it is the Lions taking on the Tiger Cats, and I'm going to assume the Old Man is taking the Lions.
It's the battle of the cats, man. It's a battle of the cats.
It is the battle.
This one's hard for me because, of course, I'm taking the Lions with knowing that Bo is on fire, and let's hope the Lions come off the bye. Hamilton, see, it bugs me because we're playing at 4:30 because they're an Eastern team, and oh my God, it'll be too late back east. But when we go back east and we play a late game there, it doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, I'm going to still take my Lions.
Okay. And then Friday at 4:30 p.m. again, we have the Elks taking on the Alouettes.
I'm going to take the Alouettes. I don't think the Elks are going to pull it off. I think the Alouettes were embarrassed by Saskatchewan last week. So they're going to come out on fire. They're not going to let 2 Western teams run over them like that.
Fair. And then we have the Red Blacks, the early game on the Saturday doubleheader. We have the Red Blacks taking on the Argonauts at noon Pacific time.
One sec. Charlie. You know I'm right all the time. Why do you always got to do this? Why do you come and now you're telling me I'm not even going to pay attention to you anymore, Charlie.
I do agree with Charlie on the second game. I do think the Elks stand a better chance against the Owls.
But don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, yeah, you have a winning record, I guess, technically.
Argonauts over the Red Blacks.
And then we have the nightcap on Saturday. The Blue Bombers taking on the Calgary Stampeders, which could be a phenomenal game.
I meant to ask Mr. McNeil if VA was healthy. I know he was practicing. Damn.
I honestly do not believe he would. That would be an answer he could give.
He would have winked at me or something. Hey, we know who's playing at the next Stampede Bowl. He kind of gave that away. Come on.
They're still working on it.
Oh my gosh, my golly. I'm going to take Calgary. Charlie, the Bombers aren't going to win. Just because Charlie said the Bombers, I'm taking Calgary. We literally picked different teams on the whole way through.
Except for Toronto. You both picked Toronto.
Oh, did we both pick Toronto? Okay.
So the old man predicts for week 10 is the BC Lions, the Montreal Alouettes, the Toronto Argonauts, and the Calgary Stampeders. Anything else to add to today's show, old man?
Something I'm going to start doing every week. If you're in a town, in one of these towns, whether it be here, no, where are we? We are playing, it's week, oh shoot, sorry, my phone's acting up. Where are these games being? Okay, so Hamilton, if you're in Hamilton, go to a game. If you're in Montreal, go to the game. If you're in Toronto, go to the game. If you're here in Calgary, go to the game. If you have the opportunity, you'll love it. It's a great atmosphere. It's fun. And if you do go to the game, I want you to do me a favor. Take some pictures, send them to us. We'll post them. We'll post them on our socials. Take some selfies at the field, whatever it is. We'll start posting that content for you.
And I mean, I'm workshopping some ideas for some more merch for us.
What?
I was working on this while the show was on the air today while we were talking. So it's a bit of a rough design, but this is my first take of it. I want the old man's true reactions.
Oh God.
You think we should put this on a t-shirt and people will get it?
Uh-oh. Not the logo. What?
Well, my thought process is
that doesn't look like that.
Again, it's a rough draft. It's a rough draft.
That doesn't even look close to that.
So I was thinking, I put logo too instead of mascot. We could have two shirts. One that says the mascot and the other one that says not the mascot. And we'll let it run for like a year or so. And whoever buys the most shirts.
Oh, I'm buying the most shirts. You know that.
Whoever gets the most shirts bought. No, I'll be able to see if you're buying them.
I'm going to buy them. I'm going to hand them out on 17th to all the homeless people. We'll have homeless people running around with our shirts on.
Maybe, you know what? Maybe on second thought, maybe we don't. Maybe we don't start making merch. But what you can do to help support us as best as possible is tell a friend, share the podcast, hit that subscribe button if you're on YouTube and you haven't yet, because it does help us out. We're very close to getting to that 100 subscriber mark, and it would mean the world to us to hit that button. We will see you here next week, Wednesday, the 13th at 8 p.m. Mountain Time with our guest, Sean Millington.
That is amazing.
Get your questions ready. Throw them in this comment section. Hit us up on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, the back alley on 17th, I guess, because that's where the old man's going to be handing out shirts. Get questions ready for Sean Millington. We'd love to get your questions into him. And until next week, have a wonderful night.